Well, good Sunday afternoon, good people. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Blue Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Hope everybody's having a great Sunday. We've got Momo in the house who's happy as can be because Scary Terry's in town. Okay, he showed up, but immediately got put on the PUP list with a mysterious ankle injury. It's called Pay Me My Money. And the cure for that is getting him a new contract. It's kind of like Micah Parsons. My back is tight until you loosen up the money. Okay, so we've got players that are in camp and things. We got our first padded practice. We have Fergalicious getting the dough. He got the big, beautiful bag of money. He is now the seventh highest paid tight end in the NFL, coming off of a bad season, which seems like the Cowboys always pay people after getting injured or coming off a bad season. But the guys that played good can't do it. You're going to have to fight for your money. So we've got the panel already in here. I've got Holly Pierce in here. We got the mouth that just keeps on moving and just says the dumbest things in Momo. And we got Thomas Garrett. Now, Mark, sounding like Sidney Poitier. Now, Mark. I swear, sound just like Sidney Poitier. Sidney ain't got nothing on you, man. How's everybody doing this evening? How's everybody doing this evening?
Huh? Hey, Thomas, say they call me Mr. Tibbs.
Yeah, there you go. They call me Mr. Tibbs.
They call me Mr. Tibbs.
There you go.
Okay. Oh, yeah. You're close. You're close on that. But when you say, now, Mark, I swear you sound like Sidney Poitier. So.
Oh, do you want me to say it properly?
Yeah, let's hear you say it properly.
Now, Mark.
Okay. No, actually, your regular voice sounds closer to it. Okay. Now, I want to get everybody's take on what happened with Ferguson getting his deal and with Micah Parsons literally just hanging out with Diggs. How you guys feel about it? Do you think that this is just the beginning of getting contracts done, or was this a message sent out to Micah Parsons?
Well, it kind of surprised me because it was a contract that came from out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And I kind of thought about it, and I kind of said to myself, I said, all right, if he gonna sign Fergie, Michael should be getting signed, somewhere short.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I can.
I think they're gonna sign Bland to a new contract. That's what I believe.
Well, if you go by the pattern, and sorry, my bandwidth is low. Dirty Sanchez, Momo should come on with a translation book. I may end up. My bandwidth is not great here at the hotel, so if it does shoot down, we'll pop back on. If you're saying that Ferguson coming off of a bad year and after having one really good year, then and that's the Cowboys' MO, then you would definitely say that they would lock down Bland. But I'm actually going to say that getting Ferguson done right now was actually a good move as far as the future. When you saw Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson getting paid after their third years, it seems like a lot of money for them now, but you're basically still having, a year or 2 years, depending on if they were a first, second round pick. You still have time to go ahead and say the contract is like Ferguson, $3.5 million right now. And we're paying him top of the market, but we're not really paying that money on the cap really for 2 years, because the second year you'll go ahead and you'll maneuver to keep it low. So from that standpoint, it's actually wise to do that. I would love to see him do the same thing, like you said, with Bland, although Bland, I think there may be more question marks than Ferguson because of the injuries he had last year. And I would say Tyler Smith is one that you really need to get done. When you see that, I can't remember his name right now, just got a $28.5 million contract. God, who is it?
Rashawn Slater.
Rashawn Slater, thank you. I'm getting. Yeah, the heat out here has been bad, so my brain's been cooking. But Slater got $28.5 million. That literally blows the offensive lineman numbers out the water. And so the price is going up on Tyler Smith. That it may be $30 million by the time if they go ahead and do with Micah. Wait till the end of training camp next year. Randy must be tired today.
I'm just a little bit, I don't know. I'm relaxed today. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with being relaxed. And there's David. What's going on, David?
Practice. Pretty good, man. I'm looking forward to seeing their padded practice today. And I got to admit, signing Jake Ferguson, I'd be a little more comfortable with it if I could just see more consistency from him. Granted, a couple of years ago he did good. Last year it was a little off because of Dak being hurt. But
he had a concussion for week 1.
But don't you think with Pickens on one side and CD on the other, and the seams being open, he may go off, and we may have saved big money.
Yeah.
Jake Ferguson may have a breakout year because of that.
It's $13 million a year is what he's getting paid. Okay. Now technically that doesn't really start until next year. And when you start saying he's already 7th, and knowing that guys like Dallas Goedert, that Kelsey and things are going to be getting paid, and the franchise tag is $16.5 million next year for tight ends. So you're looking at that and saying, okay, this is actually kind of like Osa's deal. This is actually a good deal for the team going forward if he's able to.
And they must really like him to consider that much.
Well, this is where I'd like to be a fly on the wall in Micah's room to figure out how Micah feels about this. Is he happy that his teammate got paid?
I know, right?
Or is it like, what the hell's going on? Everybody's getting paid but me.
He just looks so miserable.
Well, I mean, he wants more money than Jake Ferguson's whole contract.
Oh yeah, I think part of the holdup. Yeah, I think part of the holdup is between what Steven Catboy, whatever he's going by these days, and Mulugeta, his agent, is just how many years they're going to put on it and the guarantee. I think that's the biggest part that's holding him up on the contract.
But that too, and I think we were talking about it on Game Time Brian's. I mean, are you going to pay him like a defensive end or like a linebacker? I think that's where they're having little issues too.
He's a defensive end. He is an edge rusher at this point.
Yeah,
he is. When you look at him having more pressures over the last 4 years than anybody else. Yeah.
But I was asked a question about Christian Wilkins. Personally, I like the guy. I liked how he played in Miami. I thought he was a great player there. Mm-hmm. And to be truthful, he would be good rotation for what we've already got at the defensive tackle position, which, to be fair, we need a little bit more depth.
The problem with that is he has a toe issue.
Yeah.
From what the Raiders got rid of him.
Yeah, he had the
Raiders tricksters. They like to say a bunch of crap that ain't true.
That's what they do.
Mm-hmm.
He had the same twist that Jalen had.
Let me say, before I get in too deep, let me say hello to Kid Cowboy. We got Miss Gibson in the house. We got Drew, of course, here hating in the number 3 spot. We got Alan Williams. We've got Jeff Lee. My name is Jeff. We got Miss Gibson in the house. How are you doing, Miss Gibson? We got Lady Libra. Shout out to Lady Libra. And we'll get Miss Tracy will be... don't say that. Keeping that. Okay, you need to be secret on YouTube. She's Lady Libra. Don't say her real name.
Sorry.
Okay, because there's crazy people out there. Dwayne Sweeney's in the house and Jimbo in the house. What other lovely ladies do we have in here? Dwayne. We got Lamar Davis. So funny. Gina Dallas Diva. Welcome. Hope you're not driving right now, girl. How you doing? Dirty Sanchez, appreciate the super chat in here. Jay Smooth in the house, being all smooth, and I think that's just about everybody. Okay, so Micah looks kind of pissed on the sidelines to me. I'll be honest with you. I know that the pad's going on. It's one of those things. It's kind of like when I was a kid and I did some stupid shit, and my dad wouldn't let me go out to play, and I see all the kids across the street playing ball, and I'm stuck there at the door like, I want to go out and play. It kind of looked like that with Micah Parsons. You know what I mean? He wants to get out there and play with his buddies.
He's going to
He
get
looks
paid.
completely miserable.
Mm-hmm.
He's
Yeah,
going to get paid. I just think they're trying to protect him as far as injury. I don't want him going out there and getting injured at the same time of what's going on. That's just me, because you're hearing a lot of people have injuries right now. A lot.
Yeah, but you don't want him to. You can't put him in bubble wrap, you know. And
No, you can't. You're right.
You know, and then he gets out in the
He needs to
season
stay
and
fit.
gets, you know, a soft tissue injury. You know, it's the chance you got to take with these players. You got to get them out there and get them in shape, and especially with the new system and all that, you definitely do. Although I will say it is giving some opportunities for some guys. I love how Donovan Easy is looking. Okay, Donovan is looking really, really good.
He's a beast.
Love
And
Donovan
Tyler
Roberts.
Guyton, the two of those guys are going at it. And from what I saw from early clips, you know, Tyler Guyton is definitely a lot better than he was last year, which is great news for us. And Jaden Blue, that boy is fast. I mean, he's fast.
He's taking
He
snaps
got
with the ones.
Underrated.
And I like
Underrated.
that they could use him not as a receiver too. He can
Yeah.
Did you
catch
see the catch he made
catch short
yesterday out of the
passes. So
backfield?
I like that aspect of it. So it's not just run all the time. So
Oh yeah.
Well, he's like
He
Tony.
did.
See, the thing is Tony. That was exactly Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard's season, the year before, the last year Zeke was here before he went to New England. You saw him with like 5.8 yards of carry and things, but he was better getting him the ball in open space and being able to make those moves. When they tried to make him a between the tackles runner to make up for Zeke, it destroyed him. He did
didn't
not
work
like
for him.
running in the middle. And see, that's where I look at Jaden Blue with that speed and his, you know, he's not a real big guy. You want him to be outside. You want him to be that third down running back. Now, we'll see who ends up being the main load on first and second downs carrying between the tackles. But, you know, I'm wondering if we're getting too hyped up about what we're seeing in practice of Cowboys going against Cowboys and we're actually getting fooled, or is the hype actually real?
We'll see.
yeah, I mean the
We'll
defense
see.
looked from what I could see out there. The defense looked like they were holding their own out there. They were holding their own for sure.
Man, them edges. I was telling the buddy of mine. I told him, I said, man, our edges are some killers.
They're
Oh.
solid.
That's the K word. But man,
Sam Williams looked like he met his presence known too.
He is.
Yeah.
And you talk about somebody
Yeah,
who,
the
edges are some killers.
Jets pass rush is
you know,
phenomenal.
a funny thing
Love it.
is, as I've gotten older, I've learned to appreciate things more, you know, because I recognize I've got more
True
road
that.
behind me than I do in front of me and stuff. And things that I would have taken
Yeah.
for granted when I was younger, I don't right now. And I think Sam Williams, that him being injured last year, was kind of an awakening. So that's why he appreciates and recognizes how fragile it is. And I think that same thing happened with Micah Parsons last year. The first part of the season, after, you know, having everything was so easy for him, he never had any problems, didn't have any injuries and stuff. And then when he started last year, the one sack in the first 4 games, you know, getting ridiculed about his podcasts and stuff, and then being injured, and not being able to be out there, it seemed like when he came back, he was a different person. His podcast even seemed like it had changed a lot. And so maybe that was the awakening for him to say, you know, I've got to get my shit together. And if I'm really trying to win a Super Bowl, you know, if I'm really trying to make it and so on. And that is great if that is the case. But Sam Williams recognizes that it's shit or get off the toilet right now. They got too many guys out here with Marshawn Nealon, with Donovan Easy and Dante Fowler. It could be real easy for him to get pushed down the roster and just, you know, disappear in oblivion. That he's got to stand up right now and get her done.
Oh yeah.
And maybe that's just a trick game for Jerry Jones. Maybe he wants to make him hungry. You know, he wants to do this to try
Make them all hungry, make them all ready.
hungry and say, okay.
And I think
hear what you're
Shoddy's
saying.
been doing a fantastic job. Of,
I agree. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
Shotty's doing an excellent job.
He's
He's
doing a
exceeding
good
right
job,
now.
man.
Right now, I mean, I was one of the
Yeah.
ones that was pissed off when we signed him, but the more I hear him talk and the way I see him engage with the players and stuff like that, it's like, man, this guy.
The energy is so different than when Robot
And the good
McCarthy
thing
was
is
out
that
there.
Shotty was able to pick his own
Thank you.
coaching staff, which I thought was important.
Well, you know,
How's Myrtle Beach?
Myrtle Beach, hot as hell. You know, I feel like I got the devil sitting right there on the balcony. It's like 113 heat index today.
It's 115 here,
Hey, y'all
Mark.
need to go. I got a friend that works at the Skyway. Y'all need to
The
go over there.
Skyway. That as far as vacation goes, we've actually been out on the beach once. We walked out on the beach, walked around. The sand was hot as hell. There's a lot of rough shells on there and things. I was like, okay, it's hot, okay. And we spent more time in the room actually doing work and stuff. I got the application done for the historic application for the red brick house, and she's working on designs for some great, I'm talking incredible T-shirts and stuff. And
My background messed up, Mark.
well, their background isn't as bad as your foreground. Okay. All right. Chris May, what's going on, man? How are you doing?
Hang in there, Mark.
But no, Myrtle Beach, it's great. I mean, like you said, we've got it's like a condo that's here. So I've made some pork chops with mushroom gravy for dinner before the show and things. And
We go every year, Mark.
There's a good restaurant over there called Rib Ties you got to check out.
Check
Been
it.
there and done that.
Okay.
Oh, have you? Okay.
That
So I
sounds
go
good, by
there
the
every
way.
year for my
Man.
anniversary, Mark. Every year. Man, I
Oh,
want
do
to go there every year
Okay.
for anniversary.
I'll be real with you. Me and my wife came here for our anniversary in January, and I think we liked it better because there wasn't all the crowds, and it wasn't so hot on the beach. But see, that's what happens when you get old. Alicia D in the house. What's going on? How are you doing? Welcome. And did I miss another one of the ladies?
Tawana
Young
Gibson.
Truth. Let's see. Miss Gibson. Alicia D. Shout out to Alicia D. I don't have the ladies' night on my on this. No. Nope. Nope. Don't have it on this. I got my mini mixer here as opposed to my regular one. But definitely, Schottenheimer. I think the difference is when you've seen guys like Bones Fossil, when you see guys like Mike Zimmer, when you see guys like Mike McCarthy, no disrespect to the old guys, but they were all old guys. And so now you see the coaching staff are younger guys that can relate to the players. You see them excited and coming up with new different games and stuff. Eagle fans are laughing about, the Cowboys had the brooms and everything else that they were doing the other days. But they're trying to excite the players, get the energy and stuff on it, lighten the mood and have fun and get the work done. I love it. I think it's great. I think the players are definitely more excited than they were last year with Mike McCarthy.
And they can run up and down the field with them. Mike McCarthy couldn't do that.
No, they couldn't. No, he certainly couldn't. No, I remember, being at training camp and, Mike McCarthy's coming out to Porta-John half the time. And kind of pulling the pants up and everything else and stuff. But definitely a different energy. I wish I was actually there this year as opposed to last year. Last year was literally like being at a funeral. Jerry Jones seems to be the lightning rod where maybe Jerry Jones is taking the stance where I'm going to be the bad guy to try and coalesce the team because you've seen everybody kind of standing behind Micah Parsons, CeeDee Lamb kind of saying, I don't know if you want to go against Jerry, but, I'm with you, dog. And you've seen Dak Prescott as well as everybody else that are all kind of standing together. And maybe, just maybe that's what they need is they do need Jerry Jones to be the villain.
You see, Charles Haley was there giving a speech. He was wishing Charlotte Jones a happy birthday and all that. And
Yeah, basically saying she's hot.
He was working with
I've seen
he was
that.
working with EZ in Charles Haley.
Yeah.
Oh, was he?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, but did you see what the crowd was saying? The crowd
Yeah.
was saying,
Hey, Micah. Hey, Micah.
Hey, Micah.
That's it.
But here's what now Charles is my boy. Okay, now when I asked Charles about stuff that happened at JMU, he's like, I don't remember, man. I don't remember anything. I don't think he remembers saying that Jerry Jones built a house for losers. Because he said, Jerry Jones cares about winning. Now, wait a minute, which is it? He built a house for losers or he cares about winning?
Well,
I don't think.
he built the house for winners, but it's a lot of losers in there, so I guess.
Yeah, but Mark, here's my take on the house of
Here we
winners.
go.
If you a
Momo's
house,
take.
Here we go.
If you like to win, you will better equip your football team to win. He doesn't.
Yes.
That's all I'm saying. You can't say he's winning because he's winning and the money he making off the Cowboys like that. He about glitz and glamour. But he ain't about the winning of the football games. He wants to be
Well,
he wants the
winning.
Cowboys to be the topic of every social media platform, on every sports channel. That's what he wants.
I don't think it's that. I think he just knows how to maximize it and do it at the right time to get the
He hasn't
focus
done
on
well in
him.
the last 30 years.
Yeah.
So.
Well, not as of lately. And it's been nice that he's been more quiet this season. It's been nice.
He has not been
You look
quiet.
at it,
He
he
built
knows
up
how to
training
stir
camp.
the
I think what they've been doing is they've been
He's
locked him
not
in the
stupid.
closet
He
more.
knows how to stir the gravy.
Well, at that opening press conference, that's the most I've seen him talk. And
Gosh, crap.
Stephen
Here
was
we
very
go.
quiet. He didn't hardly have anything.
So what he said the
to
other
say.
day in training camp, he said something else in training camp too. So don't get Jerry is not quiet in training camp.
No, but okay, he's not seen as much as he used to be. Basically,
Yeah, and they call Stephen Jones the co-owner. They've never called him that.
I think his dad is just letting him get a little fame before. Let's face it, Jerry ain't moving around real good anymore.
No.
No.
No,
and
not
I
when he-
understand that.
Yeah, not when it's year 2025. So
Yes.
Hey, Momo, Jeff Lee said you need to get some weed from Leo and go get high.
No, what he needs is for me to make him a carne asada burrito, man, and take it over to him so he has something for that mouth to do,
Ooh. Okay.
Anyway.
He put his hat up, and I guess maybe he must have gotten up and he didn't want to show his ass to us. So we appreciate that, Momo.
I'll play with you, Momo.
We love you, Momo. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just let you 2 minutes of fame that he got left. That's all.
Well, I think that this is the two sides of the Cowboys. Getting Jake Ferguson's deal done for $52 million, I think, is actually a good deal for the Cowboys. That would be something like the Eagles would end up doing. Getting a guy taken care of early and recognizing that the number will go up, because if he does have a really good season, that number will be quite a lot more expensive than $13 million a year. The bigger question I have to say is, should they consider trying to do something with George Pickens? Because if Pickens comes out and gets, let's say, 1,100 yards, when you start seeing the numbers with wide receivers, Terry McLaurin, I don't believe has had more than 1,100 yards in his career. He's getting 25 right now, and he's holding out. He's going to be looking for mid-30s, I'm sure. And at the rate of way these numbers are going up, you may be looking at George Pickens being in the upper 30s by this time next year. And,
that's the reason why I say get Mike out the way, and if you can, get Smith out of the way as early as possible.
But maybe that's why you see us signing who we're signing, though.
This next year with no problem.
Well, per Mike Fisher, he tweeted out that Stephen Jones acknowledged that Jerry hears them saying, pay Micah. So, yeah. So they definitely know that the fans aren't happy about it. But does that matter?
No, it is.
Does it matter to them?
Yeah, not really.
No.
I mean, they didn't make moves last year, and we were upset. So then they didn't care. So
I'm just kind of wondering, some of the contracts that they're signing right now, maybe they're doing that to get to the point to where they can think about having Pickens. That's what I'm wondering, if they're thinking about that bigger picture there too.
Well, you also have to look. Pickens we can franchise him 2 years. So
that
he's not
franchise
going to
got a
go
lot of guys
nowhere
on
for
1 year.
free. Huh?
We got a lot of guys on 1 year contracts left.
Right.
You
The
franchise,
franchise tag for
Right.
next year for wide receivers is $28 million,
Yeah.
and that's a hard number. So and you don't really want to tag a guy. See, for example, Ferguson's number. I don't think Ferguson's number is going to change this year from that $3.5 million with this new contract. You'll probably see next year's number still relatively low, and then the following year after that is when it'll start really kicking in and being a bigger number. And so, it's like Micah Parsons right now is 24 because it is the last year of that deal, that 5th-year option. If they get Micah done, it'll drop down like CeeDee Lamb's dropped down last year to, I think, 11. So you got to understand, we can actually get more cap space by getting Micah Parsons done now. And then we'll have the trigger next year to be able to flip like they did with Dak and CD.
All right.
So it doesn't make any sense not to. I tell you, things I like seeing is 30 minutes after practice, Solomon Thomas was still out working with the sleds, working on his pass rushing technique and things. That's what you want to see, is these guys are hungry and want to turn around. It may end up being, and this is where my wife is over here working on shirts, and I'm bringing back the black sheep. Because you think about a lot of the guys that they brought in, George Pickens being basically saying, he's a locker room cancer. A lot of these guys like Elam and things that have been first round picks that didn't live up to expectations, that bringing all these guys here that were they're kind of like black sheep. And maybe putting them together is getting these guys hungry and recognizing I am on the biggest platform stage, that whether I get paid here, I'll get paid somewhere if I perform here. And these guys are chomping at the bits to really do something. Is that a crazy idea?
No, I don't think so. And that's why I like that they brought in these guys that haven't worked out in the first round. There's a lot of them on the team now that have 1 year deals, and it's going to work out good, I think, with the coaching staff that we have.
Yeah, and with Marty's attitude, Shotty's attitude. I don't know why I keep doing that. With his attitude and what I've seen and the way he talks, man, it's got me excited for that very reason,
Me too. Me too, Chris.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm ready for some hitting.
Well,
Why we have to wait any longer?
is out here breaking it.
We got some hitting the first 2 days, right? I like that. The fights.
Yeah.
Who with that?
Well, something else that's interesting too here. Now, when I heard that Mozzie, they wanted him to lose weight, and they were saying that he's going to be playing 1 and 3 techniques, both. They didn't do that with Jay Tola. Jay Tola, who's still every bit the 342 pounds, he has been taking on double teams almost every single practice. And he has been looking really good. Now, typically, defensive linemen out the box aren't really great. It usually takes time to get there. But right now, he might be a lot better than we think.
He was a good one tech in college. I like him.
Jay Tola was a beast at UCLA. I saw him.
He was.
I saw him play a few games at UCLA last year. He was a beast.
Okay, now this is some more good news here. So Savon Revell went through some individual work on the opposite field during the team practice today. Not doing work with the trainers, so he's getting close. Morgan Brock, welcome. Shout out, we got a new channel member. Ding, 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 ding. Morgan Brothers Rock, appreciate you being a channel member. Email me at cowboysmark94gmail with your address so we can get you your shot glass as well as your squeeze football, because the Cowboys will stress you out. You need to squeeze that football, and they definitely will make you drink. I'm trying to understand something. I'm kind of worried right now. I'm actually really concerned because I think Leo has been in the chat for about 15 minutes and hasn't said anything. that something must be wrong with poor Leo. Cat must have got his tongue, or his wife done put a foot in his ass. Something is wrong with Leo.
Leo, quiet, never.
Leo is right now my concerns have nothing to do with the Dallas Cowboys and everything to do with just health of the Philadelphia Eagles while in training camp, which I'm sure you guys are concerned with too. That being said, I was on Game Time's channel earlier, and I had asked everyone, and I'm interested to hear what your answer is, Mark and Derek, is that, with everything that is happening, hey, Logan, with everything that is happening, particularly with the way, this whole impasse with Micah and contract talks and all this stuff, is this, this dysfunction, is this the norm for you guys now? Is this the way it's always going to be? And with that being said, how can you get excited when you still got things like this happening? Because
here's what we know.
You guys are
hold it.
Okay.
When have they not paid one of their stars?
I'm not even talking about not paying them. The fact that this happening.
We're not the only one that's got that situation. You got Scary Terry, who showed up but immediately got put on the PUP list because he's got a hurt ankle. It's called pay-me-itis. Okay, it's what
the last person I remember having that problem was DeMarco Murray. That's the last person I could think of that wanted a contract and didn't get it.
Well, they knew it makes me think about what did Dexter Lawrence say? Is there some truth into that? When he,
The reality was with DeMarco Murray, they knew they weren't going to pay him. That's why they ran his ass in the ground. They're like, we're going to get every cent out of him, and we're not going to give him an extension. And quite frankly, that should have been the case with Zeke Elliott.
Well, DeMarco Murray had one good year.
Yeah,
that was it. And he asked for all this money. I mean, Micah Parsons has been consistently good. Zeke, well, until he got paid, he was doing consistently good. And Des Bryant, all those guys were consistent. But DeMarco Murray had one good year.
Yeah.
That was
Mark, I have another question for you.
Uh-oh.
Do you ever go back and look at the lies and the videos that you have done?
Lies?
Live. L-I-V-E.
Oh, I thought you said lies I've done in videos. I'm like,
live.
Okay. I may have gotten it wrong, but I didn't come out and lie.
No. But do you actually go back and look at what the conversation? That's why I'm asking. Do you ever go back and look at what the conversation was at this time a year ago?
This time last year. I can tell you what the conversation was. This time last year was
we were mad.
We were mad. Yeah, that was part of it. And I was at training camp, and you knew that we would need to have everything go perfect to have a decent season. We knew that because we had let go 9 starters and didn't replace any of them, that the chances are it's not going to be a good season. You were hopeful that things were going to be different. I looked at it and said, okay, if Tyler Guyton can come out and play decent, okay. If Mozzie Smith can be like Aaron Donald, okay, we're all right. But we had so many injuries before we even got to the season, with Brandon Cooks having CD holding out. You kind of knew that season's just not going to be really good. And typically, even the years before, we looked at it and said, we really didn't do anything to try and make ourselves better. And you didn't really necessarily have expectations of thinking that they would go 12-5. This year, I will say, from comparison to last year, it's night and day difference.
It doesn't seem like that to me.
No, here's what I'm going to tell you is, I think the whole Jerry Jones screwed up the whole psyche of the organization. When you went into the season, after telling your head coach that he can't go to the Senior Bowl, not the Senior Bowl, to the Combine, okay? They kept his ass in Dallas at the Combine. How are you building a team when your coach isn't allowed to go to the Combine? They said he's working on plays in the offense. Seriously? When you didn't get extensions put on there, everybody knew I'm on last year my deal. So they were basically trying to coach for their jobs. So they weren't worried about trying to do what they could with Mozzie Smith and stuff. And when you ended up losing 9 starters, guys are looking around like, who's this guy next to me? And you literally were going through and signing guys who hadn't been on an NFL roster for a year or two, USFL guys, and guys that nobody else wanted. You're looking and saying, how are we going to win and compete with other teams with a guy who last played 2 years ago and has got 50 tackles in his career? So you had all of that going on. You had Dak in a soft cast on the boat ride and everything else. You ended up having CeeDee Lamb not being at camp and being, the distraction everybody thought about. This is totally different. Now, Micah Parsons not being signed, I think it sucks. But how is this any different from Zach Martin holding in?
All of this boiled down to the playoff loss against Green Bay. I don't care what nobody says. All this boiled around that playoff loss.
Yes, it did.
That's how it all got.
I agree, Thomas.
I agree, Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
It all
That
boiled
left a
down
bad
to
taste in all of our mouths, man.
Yeah.
But you can't
I don't
just
know.
have
I don't know. I mean, I've heard Loyal say it. Randy, I don't know why we didn't fire Mike McCarthy after that game.
because Jerry Jones is too cheap. He doesn't want to pay a guy to not be there
Right.
coaching.
Yep.
He did the same thing with Jason Garrett. Should have been let go the year before.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean the culture definitely seems different now. That's a good thing. The
So-
culture
No, it's
seems-
not.
So the
Y'all got
reason,
to lose to know.
what are the
blind,
reasons?
Momo?
Your team has had
we
one decent season.
almost beat you twice last year with Cooper Rush.
Seriously,
Not even close.
and we did beat you once with Cooper.
So,
Rush.
so Momo, you don't think the culture is good in Dallas?
Y'all,
right now?
hold up. I gotta say this. Y'all are the ones who, all y'all Cowboy fans, even on this channel, was saying when the Cowboys were struggling during the year, we got a chance to make the playoffs. Y'all all was saying that. Even you,
Hell
Mo.
no.
We
I
did.
wasn't.
See that
Not-
one
not
game?
me.
Okay, so
We
y'all
did.
been like, we
Not
didn't expect
me.
to do this. Y'all
Take-
all was on that boat.
Until we count it out, we have a chance.
There's a difference in
But you're
between
saying,
coaching
Momo,
and
that you
attitude,
don't
and we
think-
are
Oh my
seeing that.
God.
You don't
There
think the
is.
culture
Now
is
that
better in
says
Dallas right now,
something's changed.
Momo?
Jerry's
The last
not gonna
time we
change.
had
He
a
still gonna
coach,
go to the locker room
Momo,
and do
that
what he
did
does.
anything to either have any team camaraderie or any kind of structure is when we had Parcells. You're seeing the exact same thing, except the difference is this coach knows how to work with the players because he's more younger and he's able to get more out of them
God.
because he's more able to relate. And you're
How
seeing
old is
that. I
Charlie?
can see that.
How was Sean?
And the players
53, Momo? 53. I think he's in his 50s.
Yeah.
Sorry, Holly,
and
go
the
ahead.
players really want to do good for Shoddy. That's how much inspiration.
That don't mean anything. That don't mean anything. He's
There
a
was
dead
lot-
man
they
walking.
didn't have
He's
any-
on.
they
If he
didn't have
doesn't
any
do
faith
well,
in
he could be
McCarthy
fired the
last
next year. I think
But
he's
You don't
they
know.
didn't
You don't know. You don't know
Momo,
Jerry
they did
Jones. He
not
doesn't
have
fire
any
coaches.
kind of-
No, it's not
After 1
Jerry's gonna do
year.
the firing. It's Steven's gonna do the firing. This
They
is
don't
on a
fire
trial
coaches
basis.
after 1 year. They gave Dave Campo
Momo,
3
what are you
years,
mad-
Momo.
Hold
What
on,
are you
I
mad?
want- I got a question
Mark.
for the chat. It says,
I'll say this, Mark, for as someone on the outside looking in, and I hear what you guys are saying. And I've said it. I've gone on record to say the things that I've noticed are notable. Okay, they are notable, but I still, because of years past, and I'm still seeing a lot of the same things. I take all of this excitement, and I don't think you guys. I think you guys should be excited, but I take it all with a grain of salt.
Here's
in
the thing.
relation to-
Here's the thing. You can flip a coin 50 times, and 50 times it could come out heads. But you know what? The next time you flipped it, you still got a 50-50 chance of it being either one. You can't say it's definitely going to be tails now.
Yeah, but that would be 51 instead of 50.
Oh, God. Okay. Here-
You just said
No. What I'm saying
okay, well,
is
I got something for Leo.
this is not the same team it was last year. It is completely different circumstances. Doesn't mean you won't have the
Yeah,
same
we
results.
actually went
I mean-
out and made some signings.
I got something for
Last year
Leo.
we didn't.
So, I mean, when we looked at the Eagles of the past, no one picked them to win the Super Bowl. I mean, last year we didn't see it coming. The year before the time before that, when y'all won the Super Bowl, we didn't see it coming. So
hell, we had Dan Salito
I mean,
saying
it's
that you're going to be a
open
7-win
season. I mean,
team.
you could be right, but then you could be wrong too. I mean, this could be the year. It could
But
be because
if we're talking tendencies, you know what I'm saying?
Lordy.
Then from a tendency standpoint, you guys know after a certain number of years, you're gone in Philly. It's not we're not going to hang. You're not going to hang around too long if we don't see the kind of results that we'd like to see, and that's coaches and players. You know,
True.
and so
y'all got rid of coaches after winning the Super
and
Bowl.
I've gone on record to say there's activity. You know, I remember Mark teased me about that.
Hold on,
activity.
Leo,
Yes,
hold
sir.
on. What if the Cowboys, after basically being on the hamster wheel for the last 29 years and recognizing that they did the same things with Tony Romo that they did with Dak, which was always like, we're a good team, we're just going to try and add a few pieces here and try and maintain what we have, and, you know, we're going to win. What if last year we went to Dak Prescott and said, look, Dak, we ain't doing shit this year. We're going to hit the reset button. We got to let go a lot of players. We're going to get you paid. We're going to get CeeDee Lamb, paid. And we're going to hit the reset. We'll end up basically tanking the season. Whether that was the plan or not, that's basically what happened. And what did you do this offseason? Well, you got some good draft picks. And maybe you ended up getting some guys that are really good that fell to you. Right now, Donovan Easy, I know it's still early in training camp, is dominating as a pass rusher. That
Dominating
guy,
who?
Dominating everybody. Okay, all right.
Donovan
Well,
isn't out there.
well, okay, we'll see.
Our starter.
Cowboys dominating Cowboys is.
Oh, there you go.
I'm just-
Okay, I'm just saying.
So when an Eagles player
He was
does
also
something
a top
great
three
at training
pass rusher
camp,
in
you don't
college last year.
I'm
not happy about that?
I hear you.
Derek. Here's the thing. Number one, it's training camp.
I
don't really care about Dak throwing interceptions or any of that stuff, because to be quite honest with you, that's what you want in all honesty, because training camp is where the mistakes are supposed to happen. That's where you work all that stuff out. So I don't really give too much credence to that type of stuff.
But you can see when somebody is separating themselves from the pack.
Yeah, but it's the separating themselves from the pack in Dallas. That's not saying anything.
Oh,
that's every team.
You know what?
That's every training camp.
We're going to have to say F you, man.
If you couldn't stop the run during the season, you know what I'm saying?
This is okay.
Then
Let's back this up here.
Sure.
Most of those people that were here last year weren't, first of all, the guys you intended on being here. Some of those guys, people didn't know the guy's name next to them. That's how new that they were. Okay? We literally lost 4 edge rushers in training camp last year. 4. You didn't have Brandon Cooks. So you going through and just saying, oh, well, the Cowboys just suck, this, that, and the other. Okay,
No, I didn't say that.
Hold on.
I didn't say that.
Hold on. I'm going to say that the Dallas Cowboys last year, I believe, got more sacks than your team did from their edge rushers. And that was with Micah Parsons missing 4 games. And with us literally in situations where teams were just running the ball at us because they had leads.
Yeah, but Mark,
to say
more
you
sacks
act
from the
like
defense.
you don't act like that Micah Parsons had more sacks than anybody on your team last year.
No, you know what, he does. But you know what's interesting is
here we go.
He had more sacks than anybody in our team, and yet he's still not signed.
Well,
you see what I'm saying? Like there's always a
Jerry Jones. But neither is Scary Terry. Neither is Trey Henderson and some others that are out there. Okay, he will get done. He will get taken care of. If that is the only knock that you have, is that they haven't signed Micah yet. For all you know, Jerry and Micah are like, listen, bro, wink, wink. We're going to do this stuff because this what makes us relevant.
Here's the interesting point, Mark. I agree with somebody said in other channels. if they would say, hey, they got a lot of edge rushers, some good edge rushers Dallas got.
Yeah.
And I agree with what they said. They could trade Michael and won't miss a beat because they got edge rushers that's very good. So they don't need to sign him right now.
Oh, they will.
They do.
I just don't
Yes, they
like.
do, right?
Are you guys even like?
Yes,
here's the interesting thing. You should like. I traditionally, and again, not counting Washington. You know what I'm saying? Because that was more like, to me, I believe Washington overachieved last year. I do believe that was, they did catch lightning in a bottle with their QB.
Listen,
but I do think that there's going to be regression. At the same time, traditionally, when you have an organization who's gone through the kind of changes such as the ones that Dallas has had, there's going to be a bit of a regression. But what amplifies it is when your front office, and your higher ups are doing the things that are saying and doing the things that they're doing, which is, okay, from a football side, things look different. From an organizational side, it's the same. So
how's this any different than what the Commanders are doing with Scary Terry?
Again, but that's an organization. We don't know that we only know that front office for a year. We don't know that ownership. We don't know that GM. We don't. You only know the coach.
Exactly.
We don't really know.
To me, that's scarier because you don't know. We know by what Dallas does. Yes, it might take a long time to get their stars signed, but they sign them.
Yeah.
So you don't know what's going on with Washington. You don't know if that organization will sign their players.
Why would Terry be in camp then? Why would Terry be in camp today?
Jerry's always in camp.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
He was in camp with Zeke, too.
All I'm saying is this, Leo.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been a Cowboys fan for a long time, and I haven't seen this type of energy in practice. I mean, we don't know what the outcome's going to be. But I haven't seen this type of energy in practice since Bill Parcells.
And Momo,
what is y'all talking about?
Momo, the reason Terry
right, but I'm just saying I didn't feel that kind of energy. Is all I'm saying.
Right,
but
again, it's the energy of competition, the energy to want to succeed, the energy to want to knock a mofo out.
And
if you don't have that mentality, go ahead. I'll let you go ahead.
I'm so sorry. Momo, reason Terry is probably there is for the same reason Micah is for his teammates. It's not, holding in. It's not for anybody else, but probably for his teammates.
Oh, yes, of course.
Micah is.
I agree 100%.
So, yeah, and that's all I was trying to say, but it's kind of hard to say anything.
Yeah. It's hard to get in when you got Momo and homeboy on the line. But no, y'all asked us why do we feel different? Why are we more excited about this year? And we tell you why, and then y'all say it don't mean nothing.
No, it means something.
You're right.
I'm not saying it doesn't mean anything. But don't sit here and tell me that watching training camp and watching some guys tackle the same teammates think that's going to be different in the game style. They tackling each other. Hey man.
Y'all are zapping out.
So those players on right now probably feel disrespected about how everybody's been talking about them. Well,
no, they don't.
No, I'm pretty sure. Because everybody just talks smack all day. The talking heads do it all day. Oh, this issue with Dallas. Oh, this person's going to Dallas. They get all our hopes up for nothing, and no one says anything.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if y'all seen Tyler Smith get interviewed, and when they ask him about the Super Bowl, and he says, "What do you think? We can't win the Super Bowl?" Mm-hmm. I mean, there comes a point in time when you got to be a man and stand up and do your thing, and that's where we're at right now.
So we gonna say they all Hall of Famers now? They all
I didn't say that, and I never heard the
practice of a Hall of Fame.
We don't beat y'all though. We're gonna beat the Commanders.
When is it? We're thinking Hall of Fame when we're excited about our team.
And that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying y'all excited over somebody throwing touchdowns or catching passes. I don't put no There's no way in the world that y'all guys. I'm not.
I am. I like the energy.
Every team does this.
I don't know,
Ain't just the
Momo. What I saw.
Cowboys. It's
all
every
I'm saying
team that
is
gets
this.
excited over
passes
practice.
the guy.
All I'm saying is
and
this,
training
Momo.
camp, which doesn't mean anything.
Momo, all I'm saying is this, and Mark will vouch for this. He was at last year's practice. It was like going to a funeral.
Waste some money, by the way.
Year,
Go ahead.
This year feels a little bit different. That's all I'm saying. I don't know what the outcome is going to be, but that's all I'm
Momo,
saying.
are you upset that
I'm excited.
David McDaniels threw 3 interceptions?
I don't care about those interceptions. Do you realize that? I don't care. He could threw 2 million interceptions in a practice session, and I wouldn't care.
Football.
Momo,
I'll tell
we
you
just
what we're
heard you.
excited
don't
about.
care.
As a Cowboy fan, you know what I'm excited about? We have a new coach. We have a new strategy. We're seeing things that we haven't seen. They're getting freaking people involved that wasn't involved. We're changing our offense. Hey, you got to be excited about something. We're one of the youngest teams in the NFL,
As
whereas
opposed to
the
the
Commanders are the oldest team in the NFL, and they better do it quicker. It's going to be over with quick.
Y'all need some walkers out there for your players.
This, Randy. Let me say this real quick, Randy, and I'm going to say this as clear as possible again. Training camp, after training camp, there's going to be people going to be let go. So there's going to be chances of you're going to get a lot of young players, some cornerbacks, some maybe a offensive lineman, maybe some defensive ends, defensive linemen, or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's what happens when people get let go. You fill the gap in. That's what it's like that. Training camp is not about. It's about conditioning and getting your legs underneath you. It's not about, hey, he's the best player. Don't like that, because the best player don't really play hard because the veterans going through the motions. It's there to show your young talent.
You know
it's
what,
about
though,
the young
Momo?
talent. That's what it's about.
I took martial arts growing up, and you do a thing called kata, which is actually
Yes,
the same
I'm
thing in
familiar with
practice. Now, when you breathe, and it's pretty much the same thing they do. Now, when you get into the moment, when you're in the moment, and where you have to make a do or die play, everything slows down. If you're able to breathe and concentrate enough to focus your energy on what it needs to be and to keep all that negative shit out, there you go.
Are all of you? Well, first and foremost, Mark.
You get my point, right?
Mark. I just want to say, please give our best to the missus, and please thank her for us for allowing you the time to sharing you with us today while you guys are on vacation. I hope you guys are having a blast, and let her know we appreciate. That being said, the question for all of you is:
Yes.
Are you all optimistic, or are you all cautiously optimistic? That's what I'm really curious to know.
I'm all in until the Cowboys are eliminated. Look, this is my team. I am a Cowboy fan. I'm going to be all in. So last year, towards the end of the year, when we had that little bit of chance to make the playoffs. Yes, I'm rooting for my team to make the playoffs. Who starts the season and says my team gonna be bad?
Listen. Sometimes
how do you anticipate? How do you can't wait for football season?
You gotta look at yourself and say this team is bad. It's something like that. I'm quite sure. When my Washington team, they was those years before Dan Snyder was there. They was bad teams.
Momo, you said your team gonna win the division with 11 wins.
Yeah, we're gonna win the game 11 games.
But I'm the crazy one.
Are all
Can
of
I
you
answer Momo's
anticipating?
question?
Are you all anticipating having the same kind of success that Washington had?
Well, Leo, I'm like I said, I've been a Cowboys fan for a long time, and like I said before, I haven't seen this type of energy since Bill Parcells. So yes, I'm optimistic. Now I'm not going to sit here and be the ones to say, "Oh, we're going to beat everybody down. We're going to go to the Super Bowl." No, I'm not going to say that.
That's exactly what you say.
I'm with you, Loyal.
Am I saying that, Momo? I didn't say that. No. I just said what I'm saying. So I'm saying we're going to the Super Bowl because I'm feeling good about my team. Is what you're saying.
So it's cautious optimism. Is it optimism or cautious optimism?
I'm optimistic.
From last year to this year, it's night and day different. And
I like what I see.
You can actually look and say there's more talent on the field than there was last year.
It's the talent on every football team.
No, bro.
I'm optimistic that things will
when we were sitting here looking at practice, not the game, because I was in training camp. Okay, we didn't have, as we're talking about Micah Parsons, we didn't see CeeDee Lamb and OTAs and minicamp or anything else, right? He was not there.
Right, yeah.
We had Brandon Cooks, who had a mysterious knee injury and was not practicing. So as far as wide receivers, we were looking at Jalen Tolbert, Jalen Brooks, Ryan Fenoy. Okay? Now, you know what I'm looking at right now? I'm looking at CeeDee Lamb, looking like he is in midseason form, and George Pickens feasting. So you can't tell me I can't feel better about what I see with those two guys right there.
You should feel how you want to
Okay,
feel.
I'm looking at a rookie who seemingly is looking really, really good in Donovan
What rookie
Ez.
you talking about? What rookie?
Donovan Ez. A guy who's coming off 15 and a half sacks last year in college, who's coming to the NFL and looking good in training camp. I have to feel good about that as opposed to me signing Carl Lawson after losing 4 edge rushers, okay?
Mark, I ask you one
I
question.
have to say, I feel better about having...
Last year, did you or did you not say when you went to that training camp that the Cowboys had a top 5 roster in training
No, I did not. No, I did not. I did not say the Cowboys. No way in hell. With us bringing back Zeke, because everybody,
last year was horrible.
I'm going to be real with you. When we were about to sign Zeke, and we can go back and find videos from it, although it's going through about 15,000 of them. But I said, I don't know if the Cowboys should sign Zeke because after 4 years, typically, 90% of the backs are spent. And here it was, Zeke Elliott, after his 4th year, you start looking at that and saying, is he going to be good for another 4 years? And he wasn't. He literally was a shell of himself. And so for us to lose Tony Pollard and say, hey, we're going to bring Zeke back. I was not excited in saying this is a Super Bowl team. I did not say that this was a top 5 caliber offense, having lost Biotish and Tyron Smith.
Okay,
on the offensive line.
We were calling for Henry, remember?
Bro, we lost 9 starters and did nothing to replace them.
Okay,
I would have had to smoke crack to say that team was better.
But it's a new year.
So, Mark, if we looking at going off of Derek J's analogy, are you in the same? Are you all in again?
Listen. I know. I recognize this. I have a rookie head coach and a whole new training staff and a lot of new pieces. I'm not one of these ones that are saying, "Oh, it's Super Bowl best." The Cowboys could go through. And after what they went through last year, having changed everything, bringing in all these new guys, becoming a younger team, they could go through, win 10, 11 games, make the playoffs, and that should be a success. If it was anybody else but Dallas, that would be considered a success and saying you're going in the right direction. Unfortunately, it is the Dallas Cowboys. They'll say, well, same old Dallas Cowboys, choke in the playoffs. When the reality is if you go by what the talking heads said, you've got one of the worst running games in football. They've rated us there. They've gone through. They won't even look and say getting George Pickens is a top 10 offseason move. They say your defensive line stinks. They say your secondary, too many question marks. So in actuality, if you go by what the professionals say, this should be a roster that has a losing record, right or wrong.
But why would you concern yourself with ESPN or any other team? If you're a fan, you don't care because they gonna say what they're gonna say.
That's where I'm giving you my personal opinion is I say they're going to be better as advertised, and the reason I say that is I see guys that are actually playing better. I see some guys that are healthy. When I look at Dak Prescott from where he was last year to this year, between the weight loss and the way he is moving around, the fact that they're even doing a read option in practice says
you think that's a good idea?
What?
You think that's a good idea?
I didn't say that was necessarily a good idea, but they're confident that guy is healed up and he looks really, really good. He looks. Let's back it up though. When you've had major injuries, like for example ACL, you may be able to play, but that doesn't mean you are back to 100% and being confident in your abilities. And what we may be looking at is finally Dak Prescott is really healed from that ankle injury.
Mark,
He's not 100%, Mark. He's never going to be 100% for the ankle injuries.
Leo, here's what I want to respond to your question. I've been a Cowboy fan for 60 years. When I was 5 years old, every year I'm all in. Every year, I don't care whether they're 1-15 and 89. I had my own friends picking at me while I was wearing the star on my hat, but I stuck through thick and thin, and I'll stick through thick and thin now. But I'm a Cowboy fan and will always be a Cowboy fan and will always be all in. Period.
I can be all in,
doubt-
but reality got to set in some point or another.
Well, reality does.
I'll
But you
face
know
it
what?
when
That's
it
when
gets
you have
here.
to. Yeah, I
Now,
want to
listen,
get there.
listen.
I ain't gonna worry
Everybody
about
hopes
tomorrow
their team
today.
can win it, you know?
Like you said.
I 1000% respect
Yeah, I take
everyone's
the
here's fandom. You know what I'm saying? I respect it. So I don't want you guys to think I don't.
No, I don't think
For
that.
me-
I just giving you my feeling
Yeah,
of how
and
I feel about the Cowboys.
And
I'm not the biggest Jerry Jones fan. I'll be honest with you.
I don't know. I don't know any
but
Cowboy fan that's a Jerry Jones fan.
Having said that, I bleed Cowboy blue, and I will always bleed Cowboy blue.
I just my thought process is always just looking at. Remember last year, right?
I
learned
remember.
the
All
lesson-
right.
I learned the lesson from Mark that at a certain period of the summer, he pointed it out. He said, "Watch, they're going to change, and they're going to start talking Super Bowl."
Yeah.
And sure enough,
That's beginning to happen now.
clockwork, it actually happened. And then what turned around this year is at this time right now, they're doing that. They're doing it.
They do it every
again
year.
in terms
That's what
of the
they do.
talking pundits.
But the difference
saying?
this year than last year is we made moves this year where I see the difference in what they're trying to do. Last year, you saw it at training camp. There was nobody there. Mark
man.
experienced it face to face.
Right.
I knew then what we should have fired them at their asses after the Green Bay game because that was embarrassing. I don't care. You got to pay them. You pay them, but you move on. And that was a big mistake that we made.
Yeah.
But
Well,
you can't just keep the hope. You got to have hope. Hope is a big thing.
Right.
We all have hope
So
on our
are
own
you
team.
all? So are you all anticipating having the same type of success that Washington had with their first year head coach?
I'm not looking at
Well,
that. I'm
Washington got
looking at
lucky.
Here's the thing.
playoffs.
I mean, they had a good
I'm
year.
looking at if we make the playoffs.
But
If
had
we
it not
make
been
the
for
playoffs,
Baker
I'll be
Mayfield
happy.
turning that ball over, they wouldn't be having that conversation. That was one play.
Right.
One play
Against Tampa Bay.
Okay.
Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield did Baker Mayfield thing.
Lower
And y'all
Cowboy.
beat the
Lower
Lions.
Cowboy. We could go back to history of the Washington football season. It was always one play that one day the game. You just think about it.
Yeah, against the Bears. That's one example.
Yes, one play. I could go against when that game against the Giants, where they should have lost that first game against the Giants.
Yep, but they're gonna be 11 and whatever this year.
Yeah,
Win the-
they're
win the
gonna be
division.
much improved.
Yep.
They gonna win 11 games. We gonna win the division.
Even though the Eagles are the Super Bowl champions and won.
Even though their defense got
That's
worse.
last year.
Yep.
This is a new
But we
year.
ain't gonna talk about it.
Eagles coming in third place. Dallas coming in second. Washington going to go. I'm not saying Washington going to the Super Bowl or a championship. What I'm saying is that they will have a better season than the Eagles. That's all I'm
said it
saying.
earlier.
Old men.
I said it earlier. Washington is going to have a over the hill gang 2 coming
Okay,
shortly.
that's fine. Overhill game went to the Super Bowl too. Remember that, Randy.
Just remember your team reminds me of that Minnesota team back in when they
Here's
had
going to be
Randy
the
Moss that had
problem.
the whole defensive lineman
for
all
all
over
those
it, like
for all
Terry
those
Ball.
for all those out there that are thinking that the Commanders are a great team, you're going to replace a lot of those teams that you beat last year with real teams. I hate to say this,
Yeah,
but
they
see,
overachieved, Mark.
They overachieved, and their defense. I know they got Von Miller, but Von Miller is not the same dude. That's
I think
and when
Von
you
Miller- I
start
think Von
talking
Miller
about
gonna have
guys that you're going to get
7
rid of,
sacks this year.
Zach Ertz.
I think you'll.
That's another over the hill.
I think Von Miller gonna have at least 5 to 7 sacks.
Momo,
Not much, but
but if you're also changing your mind like we do. Last time I heard you say Von Miller was a terrible
he's
pick.
still a terrible pick. I don't believe that Von Miller. I don't want him like that, but I know he's going to get at least 5 to 7 sacks.
Hey, baby.
He's so expensive.
I don't want him on my team.
Get
I
him,
really
Hallie.
don't.
Get him, Allie.
Yeah.
I,
You see how it
again,
changed? Yeah.
I don't
I
find
call
it.
him Mikey. This is why I call him Mikey, and
Yeah,
now
he
he's just
likes
so
it. He
happy
likes it.
now.
Yeah.
Mikey don't
Listen,
like anything.
to me again,
Did you go to bed? You need some
it's
help?
not. I get for you guys is exciting. I guess just outside the bubble, okay, which is where I am. I'm just like, okay, there again, notable off-season moves, coaching staff, players, the whole 9 yards. But then it gets, to me, it always gets taken back when you add in Jerry and Stephen Jones, because it's like for every good piece of work that you guys have done, then you
Yes.
give Jerry
Okay. Yeah,
that microphone and you take
Now
a
here's
step
what
back.
I'll say on that one. Here's what I'll say. The difference on it from last year, after the Green Bay game, we let go 9 starters. 9 starters. And we're talking about Tyron Smith. Not that Tyron Smith didn't need to go. He did. Biotish, we ended up letting go Tony Pollard, who was our best running back, although it was kind of a down year because you weren't using him the right way. You let go Dorrance Armstrong. You let go Dante Fowler. You let go of Stephon Gilmore. You ended up losing Vander Esch. You let go player after player after player. And Jerry Jones basically said, we're going to do more with less. You did nothing to replace them. And the results of last season with the magnitude of the injuries, yes, that hurt. However, you end up looking now and saying, yes, Jerry Jones typically gets in the way, but they haven't gotten in the way of doing things that help the team. Bringing back Osa Ndigazua is the opposite of what you did last year with Dorrance Armstrong and Dante Fowler. You re-signed him. And you went out and said, we're going to bring back Dante Fowler, who had 10.5 sacks. So Momo, who's excited about having Von Miller now.
I'm not excited about Von Miller.
What I'm saying is you lost a guy who had 10.5 sacks. If somebody else signed a guy that had 10.5 sacks last year, people would be talking about it saying, well, man, they got a guy who got 10.5 sacks last year. Nobody's talking about Dante Fowler, who probably will be a rotational player.
Right.
On our roster.
Mark, let me be clear about
but hold
Von
on.
Miller.
Let me finish answering Leo's question. You then go out and say, okay, we have a problem with our number 2 wide receiver, and you go out and you get a deep threat wide receiver like George Pickens. That is a move that's typical for what the Eagles would do with going out and getting A.J. Brown. And if you do not recognize having a healthy CeeDee Lamb in camp now with a healthy Dak Prescott and having George Pickens, who now seems to be completely rejuvenated and turning over a brand new leaf, and dare I say, maybe growing up. Because I can look at CeeDee Lamb after the Green Bay game that he checked out and saying, I need to grow up, and seeing that guy actually mature and grow up. If you have a similar situation right there, if you do not think having CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens together is not going to make that offense that much better, then you do not understand football. That opens up Jake Ferguson to have a monster year across there. That ends up helping a guy like Jalen Tolbert, who understands that they ain't going to think about me. They ain't thinking about me because they got to worry about CD and George Pickens, that he will end up being better. If you don't recognize that they have, yes, they're screwing around with Micah Parsons, but they've actually put pieces in place and actually getting more depth than they've had before. Are there holes? Are there question marks? Yes, there are. Completely. But at least you look at it and say, Cooper Beebe came out the box last year as a really good center. You expect him to play better. Tyler Guyton left you wanting. But from the amount of work that he's put in the offseason and recognizing that he was ass, he is actually thus far, and I know it's just going against Cowboys, is looking night and day different than he did last year where he was completely lost. So
there's a lot of good on good.
There's a lot of good on good. And you're seeing Donovan Easy going against Guyton, and the two of them really going at it and really trying to put in the work. You didn't have that last year. Guyton, they literally said with Tyler Guyton last year before training camp started, he's not going to be ready to start.
Okay, Mark. Let me sir. Last year was the year that Jerry say was all in, and he didn't
Okay,
do. Now, if
but
he did, I know. Listen,
you
let's hear me
can't
out.
believe
Let's hear me
anything
out.
Jerry says.
Let's hear me out. Let's hear me out, because let me finish my statement. So he said he was all in. He wasn't all in. Didn't replace the players that was let go. But those years before that, Dallas drafted well out throughout the last 30 years. So they had the players in there to win championships.
But here's the thing, though. No, Momo.
He hadn't actually drafted
You can
that
look
well
and
the last
say,
few years.
oh, you can look and say that the Eagles have drafted extremely well the last 4 years or so.
Draft, developed, and signed.
Okay, but did they stop there and say we don't need to bring in anybody else?
Right.
Because if that was the case, that team has been drafting great. You see what Saquon Barkley did for that roster. You see what A.J. Brown did for that roster, as well as many other ones that they brought in.
Right.
Drafting
Well, they
well
signed half the
is
Georgia
not
Bulldogs.
enough. Your team, let's be clear here, is built on free agents, Momo.
Oh,
From
absolutely.
Dallas.
Okay? And that's the problem is the Cowboys always say, we don't believe in free agents because you're paying great money for a good player, okay? And it's just saying that you screwed up in the draft. It's like, yeah, well, you did screw up in the draft, but you got to do something about it.
But
So,
Mark, we all know this whole league is about free agency.
yes.
The whole
So
Then
your
tell Jerry
argument
Jones
where you
that.
just said, well, the Cowboys drafted great, so they should win a Super Bowl. It doesn't work that way.
I
Okay?
know it doesn't
You
work,
have to,
but I'm just saying
now,
great
if the
talent. That's all
here's
I'm
the
saying.
thing. If the Cowboys in those 12 and 15 seasons went out and said, let's get another wide receiver like teams like the Rams did and got Odell. Let's get a Von Miller who was more in their prime to add to the rotation. They topped off the good talent that they had to win. Even Tampa Bay, when Tom Brady came, they had a really good defense, and Jameis Winston had, don't yawn at me. Don't yawn at me there, bro. They had, even with Jameis Winston, 30 for 30. He had 30 TD passes and 30 interceptions. They had a basis of a good team. Bringing in Tom Brady and Gronk and some of the other
Yes,
players,
I-
Ndamukong Suh, was what took that good team on to win a Super Bowl. The Cowboys look at it and say, we got a good team, so we're not going to do anything else. And that is the problem with the Cowboys. They've been so top-heavy with talent that when you lose a Tyron Smith, you go to a Chaz Green. And that has been the biggest problem with them is once you get past having the good players, the guys that are down low because these guys are taking all the money suck ass.
But you believe
I'll
that
say this, Mark. I
Jerry
think
Jones?
that-
Do you really believe that Jerry Jones wants to win, or you just think he's just there to be on camera and had the glitz and glamour and make the Cowboys #1 franchise in the history of franchise?
They showed
I don't
Jerry
think he's
Jones.
in the business of winning. I think he's in business for himself and make himself look good and have all the tensions on him.
They showed Jerry Jones at the end of every loss, at the end of every win. You could look at him and
he's
tell them
pissed.
losses hurt. And you can look at him and tell how
I think
he
he's
is
playing
when they
for
win.
the camera.
But
I don't
here's
think
the thing
he
too,
really
Leo.
cares.
Well, Momo, what you want me to base it off of? I mean, I don't
I'm
know
just
him in his
based on
personal
your
life.
actions. Your
I'm just
actions
basing
speak
it off
louder
what
than
I
your
see.
Actions speak louder than
Just
words.
basing it off
You
what
know
I
that.
see.
I'm gonna be.
You asked
I'm
me
gonna say
how
that
I
it did
feel.
Moore, shout out to you.
I
You
can
are
only
one of
base
the-
how I feel off of what I see from Jerry Jones.
I'm
gonna be more in depth about what I was saying.
I'm wrong.
Hey, loyal.
You had
I don't know.
opportunities to get a lot of
What's
good
going on?
players. You didn't do it.
So
Actions
here's what
speak
I'm.
louder than words.
So here's what I'm excited about too, Leo. I mean, yeah, we got some talented players. Could have used some improvement. Yeah, we've had talented players before, but I'm excited about the coaches that we have.
Amen.
To coach these guys up. I mean, Kellen Moore did well for y'all, but when he was with us, he sucked. He didn't do nothing.
Right.
Here's the reality.
there's
though.
a lot of-
What
there's
can
a
you
lot of
say that
coaches
Kellen
that I
Moore did
question.
different? What did
There's a
Kellen
lot
Moore?
of-
What honestly, Leo, tell me what was the Kellen Moore stamp on the team?
What was the Kellen Moore stamp?
Yeah,
on the
what?
team?
Tell me what exactly Kellen Moore did differently that made a
He
difference.
changed to make it better. Yeah.
No, well, here's the thing. That's a loaded question, and the only reason why I'm saying that is because what he did different than the year before was different from the year before that. What was different from the year before that, it was different for the year before that, and different before the year before that. You all gotta remember, we have not had stability on the offensive coordinator position, coaching position, since Jalen's been in the league. So that's why I say that's a loaded question, like, because it's all different. It's different every year, and to be honest with you, name a quarterback who has had that kind of sustained success with that much turnover on offensive coordinators in the league. The only thing that we have had that's been constant is the head coach.
Yeah,
but when it comes to
basically, he's just asking what was Kellen Moore's contributions to the team. It's the year before doesn't matter. That he had all those different offensive coordinators, that doesn't matter. What did Kellen Moore contribute to the Super Bowl win?
Jay. So smart.
Just that part. Like, I've had a lot of people running your store, and it's a different manager every year, and then you get this manager and you have success. What did this manager do to improve your business? What did Kellen Moore do to improve?
Leaned on the running game.
So okay. Now here's where I will say Kellen Moore was Norv Turner. Norv Turner with the Dallas Cowboys, you have to look at this and say, okay, Cowboys had arguably one of the greatest offensive linemen ever, okay, on that offensive line. The Great Wall of Dallas, great offensive line. A Hall of Fame quarterback, NFL leading rusher, a wide receiver who was a Hall of Famer, okay, along with the first time I ever heard the term security blanket in tight end, a incredible fullback, and even role players like Alvin Harper. If you are coaching and calling plays for that, how many plays are there out there that you're going to call that probably won't be successful? Right? If you've got that kind of offense to work with, it's hard to kind of call some bad plays, right? As opposed to going to a team that doesn't have all those things. And I can look at that offense right there and say the Eagles are very similar in that situation. You can say, well, they got a new offensive coordinator. But if I've got a great offensive line that is giving my quarterback all day to throw, and I've got two great wide receivers, and I've got the NFL running back, best
Mark,
running
get to
back
your
in football.
super chats.
Got a couple of super chats. I can read
Shout
them
out to
off.
Stacy White. Oh my God. Just left lunch at the Star. Folks say Jerry is a negative. Even the positive changes. Jerry undermines the positive efforts of Shoddy and the players. If Jerry and Mike are about the drama, it's not for team building. Stacy White, you are 100% right. I agree with you. Everybody is against Jerry Jones. Kellen committed to the run, 2,000 yards. Yeah, of course you committed to the run when you brought in Saquon. The funniest thing is most people were looking and saying, you can't run Saquon that much that he won't be able to hold up. But you honestly are saying that was the big stamp, that they ran the football? Really?
But we always run the football well.
I guess you can give him that. I guess you can give him that, because I remember the year before, the complaint was they didn't stick to the run as much as they should. So I guess you could.
But he wasn't a head coach.
Well, we'll see how Kellen Moore does with New Orleans, because that's a team that is literally starting over. Let's see how he does, 2-3 years from now.
You also got to realize Kellen Moore was not the head coach.
Yeah, but I don't know about that one too, Mark, only because New Orleans has some legal issues that they got, legal challenges that they got to get through with the Catholic Church.
Say what?
Yeah, they got some legal issues with the Catholic Church and ownership that they got to get through.
Okay, I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, they got oh yeah, bro, hell yeah.
It's a big issue, Mark.
It's real.
I know why.
Yeah, I'm not joking either. Like, I'm dead ass serious. Yeah, they got
I would never accept that job. He should have known better to accept that job, knowing what that was coming.
I said the same thing, Momo. Like, I was surprised that he even took it, considering the things that they are battling with legally. You know what I'm saying?
It's not good.
Ownership and the police and
Catholic
everything
Church,
like that. So it's not good.
It's not
Yeah,
good.
it's not good in New Orleans right now.
I don't think personally. I don't think no head coach should go there with that.
I was, I just assumed, I thought that he would stick around I was hoping he would stick around for another year, but it's
I
okay.
didn't even know about this. Hold on.
Yeah. You didn't know about New Orleans and
It's a bit of a complicated situation. The New Orleans Saints have been accused of helping the Catholic Church with damage control during the clergy abuse crisis.
Yeah.
There are some emails that suggest the team was more involved than they initially admitted.
Yeah.
It's a pretty serious issue with a lot of people feeling hurt and betrayed. Is there anything?
Yeah, that's crazy.
I've been saying that forever. Like,
I hadn't heard that.
I thought that would be the thing that I was
I wouldn't have took that job.
That would be the thing to keep Kellen Moore away from taking that job, but he still took it. So okay, but yeah, they got issues down there, Mark. That I'm surprised. It's interesting how you don't hear more
The
about
national
it.
media didn't even say nothing about it. They kept it from
That
behind
might be
closed
the
doors.
league helping them out, doing them a solid by keeping the media away from it all and everything like that. But yeah,
But the ESPN knew, the Fox knew, Sports knew, all those they all knew about it, but they just didn't want to report it.
yeah.
Being
Again,
paid not to report it, probably.
I will just say this. Everything that I'm hearing, and listening to you all and everything like that, and I said this on Game Time's channel, it makes me say, okay, I'm going to leave the door open for a change in attitude towards the Cowboys once the preseason starts, because then that's with my own team too, because now we get to answer depth questions and actually see, instead of theorizing and hypotheticals, now we get to see exactly what's going on and how they look, particularly against other teams when they're practicing. Because again, it doesn't say much to me if you're running the ball well against the Dallas defense. Well, everybody ran the ball well. Yeah, sure.
All right. Okay, stop for a second. Let me acknowledge, shout out to Tay Cowboys is back. See, this is what I love. We're seeing so many of the wonderful fans and stuff coming back around and things like Tay Cowboys. And D Moore, hopefully you got your shirt. Newhouse family, I see you in here too. Let me know if you guys got your shirts. Michael sent them out this past week and so on. So hopefully
I
you
need a new
guys got
shirt.
them. Huh?
What is your email, Mark? What is your email?
CowboysMark94@gmail.
Okay.
Cowboys, and you know what? And I tell you what, Randy, if you ever win one, I'm gonna get the Manster. I'm gonna get his face on it and send you one.
Okay.
So they'll say, "Is that you?" No, that's Randy White.
I need a T-shirt, Mark, that says the real Momo.
Oh,
oh boy.
no Momo, no Momo,
mercy.
no Momo. Okay.
And there's a fake Momo out there.
Yes, it is. It
Oh my
actually is
God.
one out there.
Now you know when they start making fake momos, you know you've made it then. But here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to tell you how different this is, okay? And I wish Game Time was actually in here because he can back it up. Here's how far the Cowboys have gone. When we signed Paris Campbell, me and all of the Cowboys, mafia out here, we're selling Paris Campbell. Well, Paris Campbell, he didn't really get a chance with Philadelphia, because they got
Right.
A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and everything, so he didn't get a chance. He's a guy who can go deep, We were literally getting excited about Paris Campbell, right?
Yep.
We ain't even hear about Paris Campbell until he got injured in practice yesterday.
Right.
Okay, so a guy that we were looking at and said, "Oh my God, we got Paris Campbell." We were excited about that. He's a guy that probably is not going to make the roster. And we can sit here and talk about Brock Hoffman. We were looking to say, well, Brock Hoffman, he stepped in for like 4 games for Zach Martin. He played pretty good at guard. We're sitting there talking about it may be that they play him at center and they move Cooper Beebe to guard. We were literally talking about that. But then we get Tyler Booker and Brock Hoffman, a guy that we thought might be a starter, is now actually your swing center and guard.
Right.
So from the standpoint of looking at typically what the Cowboys have done, you actually have a little bit more depth. I'm worried about the tackles because Terrence Steele has an ankle sprain, and that lets you know how fragile we are as far as the tackles go.
He was back at practice today, Mark.
Well, then that's great news. But, you have to even look at this and say last year We're pulling guys off the street, literally, to be playing. We signed Carl Lawson after the Rams game. Okay, after the Rams game, he was off season. He wasn't on anybody's roster or anything else. We brought him in after the Rams preseason game, and he became a starter by week 3. So now you're talking about guys that weren't even considering playing or didn't have a team during this time last year that you had to make a starter. That lets you know how deep the injuries went on your roster. I can look at this and say, I got a lot of guys right now that are going to be players that will be on other teams that may play significant minutes as edge rushers because we have more depth than we've had before. And that may be the difference of this team is you do actually have some depth. I don't know if Miles Sanders is going to be a great running back again. I don't know if Javonte Williams is going to be. But what I've seen from Jaden Blue is a guy who can catch the ball and is a receiving threat. And I know that with George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, they're going to clear out a lot. It's going to be difficult to put 8 men in the box if you've got those 2 guys outside. And you're going to be able to open up things for Dak Prescott that he has not had in quite a while. CeeDee Lamb,
but your run game is your run game comparable to the high end teams in regards to being of service to Dak is because
here's the thing though. See, the thing that I look at and say is this. You have Ferguson, who is a good blocker and a good receiver if he's healthy. Brent Ford, Spam, is becoming a good pass catcher as well as a pass blocker. And even Schoonmaker is looking better than he has in the past. You may end up using 12 personnel that will help you to be able to run the football. If, let's say, you get in 12 personnel and they put 8 men in the box, you can pass the ball against that. If they don't put 8 men in the box, you can run out of that. And that's one of those things that you'll be able to do. You're going to see what works for you. And this is where you've got different points of view and different coaches that are going to hopefully help scheme up things better. Clayton Adams is a great offensive line coach. And he's your offensive coordinator. And the things he did with the Arizona's running game, if he can replicate some of that, it may not be as good as that team's was, but it will be better than it was last year. I can say that much.
Right.
And it kind of complements it too, the passing game of getting Pickens in there and having that kind of helps, complement the running game.
Not spam, span Ford. Okay. See how you Eagle fans are?
Look, man. Again, it's interesting watching you all go through the different range of emotions and seeing things. I'm asking these questions because a year from now, at the end of the season or whatever, I want to go back and look at this too.
Okay.
And see this is the setup.
But it's funny to me how you are up here, looking down on us peasants down here, where you've already got it in your mind that we are the Philadelphia Eagles and we are great and we're automatically going back to the Super Bowl. And the reality is nobody knows what the hell's going to happen. The same thing with Momo. Momo, sorry, buddy. You beat a bunch of stiffs last year, and you even lost to a stiff, Cooper Rush and the Dallas Cowboys. If you honestly believe that you're going to replicate what you did last year with that defense against legitimate NFL playoff caliber teams, you're crazy. Every year is different.
So the difference with that, Mark, is that number one, let's not forget, okay, and because you guys don't let me forget, I'm on the hook already. You see where Derek J is right now. I put myself out there the for the Super Bowl, so I'm already there. I'm on record. I am out there, okay?
Okay.
So it's not that we're up here, no, bro. I'm already on the hook. Okay.
I'm on the hook too, Leo.
No, not like me. Okay.
But I just want to say, let me say one quick. I got to go. I have to go.
Momo, wait.
I just had to.
Wait,
I just have to say
Momo,
this.
wait, please.
This is
Let me
important.
complete the thought. The second part to that is that I've said this oftentimes. You know what I'm saying? Last summer, you all beat me down about acquiring Kellen Moore. Okay? You all told me that we were going to get Kellen Moore. And you all rolled your eyes. Okay, we'll see, Leo. Even when I said, no, I think we're going to, I said, Kellen Moore has never had this amount of talent at one time on a football team, to include his time in Dallas. And you all kept saying, don't worry, it's just a matter of time, Leo. Y'all going to get Kellen Moore. That's what you all told me. And then I asked you, well, if you're going to say that, then let's go down the other rabbit hole. And what happens if he's successful? Then we're probably going to end up winning the Super Bowl. And lo and behold, look at what happened. The best part about saying that, the best part about that is that I can go back in your lives and in your videos and go back a year, and there's the proof, because I did say it. You all did do that.
Because the tendencies showed us that. The tendencies, we saw what Kellen Moore did to us.
Say this.
We saw what he did to the Chargers. So his tendency says he was going to mess up. So that's what we was giving you.
He may do it again in New Orleans.
And I remember y'all Eagles fans listened to y'all, saying, "Oh, that Kellen Moore did all this," but then I kept hearing the mixed stories of, "Oh, it was really Nick that was calling all these plays and not really Kellen Moore."
No, that's not true.
That's some of the things that I was hearing.
No, but that wasn't true.
But I'm not saying that's true or not, but that's just
I have an important
Eagle fans that I've heard it.
I have an important announcement. I have to leave because I just got the phone call. I'm ready to get.
No.
Oh, Mama, I'm so sorry.
Sorry, Momo.
Send in prayers your way, man.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man.
I'm going to keep you in my prayers, bud.
So sorry.
Sorry, chopping on you earlier.
Sorry, Momo.
Yeah, sorry for
you,
chopping,
Momo.
man. I'm just this football, man. It's just talk football.
You know we love you, man, even though we hate your team.
Yeah.
Momo's sister is in hospice, and he lost his brother just a few months before, and so that was definitely the call that he didn't want to get.
Yeah. But Leo,
sending prayers his way.
Leo, I'm gonna tell you like I told Drew, dude. I know you're gonna have some repercussions behind this, and I don't care. We're winning NFC East. I'm sorry.
Who?
And I'm gonna tell you, Cowboys winning. We're winning the NFC East. And I'm gonna tell you, you gotta look at history, son.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Haven't you noticed? Put your thinking cap on. Haven't you noticed? Whenever y'all either went to the Super Bowl and won, the following year Dallas won the East.
If
There go the tendencies again. Tendencies.
You know what? if that is what you are basing, I'll take it. Okay. Okay, Thomas, I'll take it. You're right.
You haven't spoken to me since, and that's okay. I told Drew and him spoken to me since. Hey, it's gonna happen again, dude.
You know what? The best part about this is that every time y'all tell me something is something's going to happen, particularly when it comes to my team, the best of it happens. So I'll take it. I'll take that, Thomas. Thank you for that. That means I know we're going to win the NFC East, and I know we're going to win this Super Bowl. And I'm glad that that's on record because I've already said it a few times. But I feel like in response to what you just said, I needed to reiterate the fact that, you know what I'm saying, again, we're definitely in two different places in regards to our teams and the way things are in the outlook. You know, again, I'm going into this preseason looking at, I want to know about the depth that we have. I'm excited to see what these youngins are going to be looking like on this defense because, again, with the players that we are replacing, the players we're replacing them with are guys who were already on the team but just weren't starters. You know, a lot of the guys that will be starting this year were actually big contributors throughout the playoffs.
Hey, that's one receipt that I can put in the drawer right here, just in case if that happened. I pull this receipt out of the drawer, and we can go. We can come back to this date, July 27th.
And I will, I will definitely present myself as such. Okay, but I again, we're in totally different places to include when it comes to ownership, to include when it comes to coaching. The only thing that's alike is, again, we have a new offensive coordinator, but the good news is this is a guy that was in the building already.
Oh my God! I hope your team
and they're all familiar. They have a familiarity with this guy, with Kevin Patullo.
The Cowboys come out and hand you your lunch money, and that just starts the snowball roll to hell. The arrogance that you guys have, congratulations on last year, but last year has no bearing on what this year is.
We are not, this team is not last year's team.
Every team is one player away from disaster, one injury away from it. For all you know, Saquon Barkley could go down, and then Jalen Hurts. I'm not wishing
that
for it.
Sounds like more of what you're wishing for.
No, I'm not wishing for that. What I'm saying is that's the reality of NFL football. Anybody can go down at any point. And if you ended up having the injuries in the right places, all of a sudden things get bad real quick. And nobody knows. Nobody expected the Commanders to be in the NFC Championship game. And every year, there's always a team out of left field that nobody thought was going to do jack crap that does. And there's so many teams, because you could be the San Francisco 49ers who went to the Super Bowl, and everybody looked and said, well, that team is ready to go back. They were an overtime away from winning, and the whole season ends up being a disaster, and they even drafted ahead of the Cowboys, as bad as our season was. You just don't know.
I'll say this, Mark. I'm excited. I am genuinely excited to see what A.J. Dillon is going to look like behind this offensive line. I am excited to see what Will Shipley is going to look like in year 2 behind this offensive line. I'm excited to see what Terrence Marshall. I'm excited to see what Terrence Marshall is going to look like with this quarterback and this offense. Okay, I'm excited to see what Keely Ringo, Adoree Jackson, and Eli Ricks. I'm excited to see what they look like in this defense. I'm excited to see. Excuse me. I'm excited to see Cooper DeJean playing in the base package in the safety spot. I'm excited to see what
I'm gonna be excited to see those young guys going against George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb.
You know what? I'm excited to see what George Pickens is going to look like going against this defense with Dak. I really do. I really want to see, because again. The doubt, it has nothing to do with George Pickens and his ability to play the wide receiver position. The doubt comes in the bigger the game, the more Dak shrinks and makes mistakes. I'm not saying he's the sole reason why you guys lose in the playoffs and everything like that, but I will say this. He has historically been a key contributor to why you guys don't win. Not the sole reason.
I would buy that if all of a sudden, if you could point to me who has played great in the playoffs for the Cowboys. Okay? Because without a running game, chances are you're probably not going to win. Without an offensive line that's playing good, chances are you're not going to win. You get a team that has 14 freaking penalties, chances are you're not going to win. To solely say that the quarterback shrinks in the playoffs, if everybody else is playing good and he was just literally throwing it in the dirt with guys that are wide open, I could say, yeah, you're right. He's pissing down his leg.
I just say he was a key contributor. He was like when you name all that stuff, I think the mistake is always not adding Dak's contribution to the problem too. And that part is where that's where when we're
if
talking,
your team can't snap the damn ball and receivers can't get open and running backs can't run, what is it you expect your quarterback to be able to do to overcome all that?
You know what? I tell you what, whatever, and you're right. And that is the metric to see that everyone else is judging Jalen Hurts on. If he's if Dak is so good,
because you know what? Here's the difference.
Let's see him.
No,
let's see him
here's
put y'all on the back and win.
You have actually a team
playoffs.
that you can look and say, well, shit, Saquon is playing great. You can say, shit, AJ Brown and Devontae Smith are getting open. Shit, that offensive line is opening holes and can snap the ball without getting a penalty. Shit, that defense is stopping the run and doing all that. Yeah, Jalen, I need you to do your part. You can look and say, they're not the problem. You can look and say, where do you look at and say, damn, this guy sucked and didn't perform in those games? You can't point to issues that the Cowboys have in the playoffs like the Eagles. You can't. You can't.
But when I said that, I'm talking like when you hear the pundits talking about whether Jalen is or isn't an elite quarterback. Team. Okay, cool. If it's the team, you know what I'm saying? If then why hasn't Joe Burrow made it? Why hasn't Josh Allen done it? Why hasn't when you look at I
can say Joe.
Look at Patrick Mahomes.
I can say Joe Burrow hasn't had the offensive line that the Eagles have had or the running game.
Okay, but he's had
right or wrong.
He's had stability though.
Stability in having top of the NFL in positions. You get 2,000 yards from your running back, and you have two great receivers and a great offensive line. You're supposed to win the Super Bowl. Who else in the NFL? Who else in the NFL had what the Eagles had on offense last year?
Baltimore.
They didn't have the wide receivers.
They didn't have the receivers.
Zay Flowers. They had
Zay Flowers is
Mark
not AJ Brown.
No. We're talking comparable, right? We're talking comparable.
It's not.
That's not comparable. They had a stout defense. They had a stout.
They didn't have the
game.
Eagles defense. Sorry, you were the best team in football last year.
I know that, but if you're asking who had talent wise, Baltimore.
I still don't think
Baltimore
had as much as you had.
Detroit. I think Detroit's the only one that had the talent like Eagles.
I agree with you,
but they got hurt.
Yeah. Right, so they didn't have the talent because the talent was hurt.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. To start the season off and everything.
Right. Yeah. No,
they had Austin St. Brown and they have those running backs and Gibbs there.
And Montgomery. Yep.
They had the team. They just couldn't stay healthy.
Yeah. And then when you look at Kansas City, they had Pacheco, they had
they didn't have the receivers either because you got to think
Worthy,
climbing.
Pacheco,
Bryce.
Listen, Pacheco was not Saquon.
No, again, what I'm saying to you is that they had comparable talent.
Okay, now every team. I tell you what, I will give you Kansas City, and I will give you the Ravens, and I can look at those teams and say Dallas Cowboys haven't had anywhere near the talent that those teams have had in the last 5 years.
So why?
I mean, no. Listen to me. Why? Okay, I can't answer why Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones do what they do. Okay,
I was about to say, so why should I believe?
Listen,
so why should I buy into what you're saying about?
If the Cowboys had done, this is what's maddening about it. In those 12-5 seasons, if the Cowboys said, you know what, we've got Brandon Cooks who's got like 600 yards, we've got CeeDee Lamb 1,700 yards. How about we go get another legitimate wide receiver and add to that mix? And you know what? Let's go in and get ourselves a free agent nose tackle that is a run stuffer, right? If the Cowboys had just done like those two things, you know that those teams would have been a hell of a lot better. The thing about the Cowboys is they have good teams, but they don't have great teams. And you can't put all of it on the quarterback when your defense is giving up 161 yards on the ground. I'm sorry.
But I
You just
pretense,
can't- and
Mark,
when I
I
look at-
pretense
when I
everything
look-
with saying
you can't
he's not
really-
the sole reason.
Listen, you can't really compare what Jalen Hurts did last year to Dak Prescott because Dak Prescott had nowhere near the offensive line. I don't know that other than Tyler Smith last year, that there was anybody else on the Dallas Cowboys offensive line that was comparable man for man against the Eagles offensive line.
No, because even Tyler Smith had a down year last year. Last year,
Right.
before Dak got hurt, his offensive linemen were in his lap.
Let me ask you something,
He was
Mark.
throwing off his back foot.
Forget. Let's throw last year out the window, right? Let's throw last year out the window, and let's go with 22. Okay, where was that Philadelphia Eagles team considered a super team then? In comparison to the Dallas Cowboys,
They still had a great offensive line. They had two great wide receivers, and they had a good defense. I didn't say they were a super team, no, but they didn't win the Super Bowl though either.
You were a top 5 team, but you weren't a super team until Saquon joined.
right? So therefore, comparable. Dallas was closer to the 22 team than they were to last year's team, right?
Without a doubt, they were closer to it.
I would say everywhere but the defense and
But
offensive line.
in 22, you still did not have. You know how bad our offensive line was. Tyron Smith missed almost that whole season.
I know how. I remember how bad your QB played.
Okay, but listen,
wasn't 22 the year he ran too far? He ran too far and couldn't get set again to run that last play.
Yeah, and the referee spotted the ball 4 times.
Yeah, that was the same game that we had actually with San Francisco, 3rd and long, and Randy Gregory decided to tackle an offensive lineman and get 15 yards and give him more time too.
And Trayvon Diggs dropped the interception that nobody.
And Trayvon Diggs had the opportunity to go ahead and take the ball away from George Kittle and didn't. Okay, you can go through and say all kinds of different spots that people didn't perform in. The reality is it's still a team sport, and your team has a great team around Jalen Hurts.
And what was so bad about that, Mark, was it would have been 4th down and we would have gotten the ball back.
Yeah.
They're good field.
Yeah, it would have, and that would have made all the difference in the world.
So, I again, just because I'm seeing the setup here, and I'm just, I just want to make sure that I don't leave any stone unturned, so that when you guys are let down again, I just want to make sure going into the season we covered all these things, the what ifs and the hypotheticals and all that stuff. Hence why my line of questioning. That's all.
Well, you are really cocky, ain't you?
Yes, I am, Thomas. I am. You see this right here? It makes it
last year.
This makes it so.
Last season's the champ.
It says
no. Yeah, it makes it so.
That y'all won last season.
This right here makes it so.
When all the things happen our way, I want you to be here.
That's a bullseye.
I was wrong, and I'm sorry because I predicted wrong and I was talking cocky.
Okay, let's go. Okay, so Leo, let me go back to this game for a second here. Okay,
Sure.
So we were talking about the Cowboys losing 23-17. You realize that my quarterback was sacked 5 times in that game, right? So does that say that was that all the quarterback? Right? Was that the quarterback?
No.
Okay.
No.
So my lead dog running back, Zeke Elliott, averaged 2.6 yards per rush and had 31 yards. 31 yards from Zeke on 12 carries. Dak had 4 carries for 27 at least. Tony Pollard had 4 carries for 14 yards. Okay, right?
Yep.
Okay. Do those 2 things right there affect the quarterback's play?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just asking because, and then on this game, the team had 14 penalties.
Yep.
14
Now,
penalties.
but what was the QB play like too?
He had 254 yards passing, 23 out of 43. Okay,
23 for 43.
Yeah, one TD, one interception, between being sacked 5 times and having 41 yards rushing by his running backs.
Hence why I preference everything with saying I don't consider him the sole reason, but I do consider him a key contributor.
If you are one-dimensional, you've got no threat whatsoever in your running game, and you have 14 penalties and you're sacked 5 times, what is that guy supposed to do? He did throw for 254 yards, and he also ran for 27 yards. When your other 2 running backs ran for
43 times.
Yeah, 43 times because you were one-dimensional because you could not run the football.
Mark, Saquon Barkley only has 60 yards in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and guess what? That is 60 yards. That's more than the Cowboys had as a team in the game. And here's the thing. The reason why he only had 60 yards was Kansas City said, we may lose the game, but we're not going to let Saquon be the reason. We are going to put 8 men in the box to stop him. Flat out.
And nobody got those rushing yards.
And nobody did that with getting worried about the Cowboys running game. You didn't worry about Tony Pollard and Zeke, both of which, mind you, Tony Pollard that season ended up dealing with plantar fasciitis, and Zeke Elliott hyperextended his knee in the middle of the season and was never the same guy running the football.
Okay, Mark, what about 20? What about 21?
21?
That was a COVID year. It sucked.
Can I ask y'all something?
Yeah.
What has this got to do with this year? I mean, we're talking about games that were 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, so what I'm saying to you, what I think for this year is why I'm like, okay, how are you guys this level of optimistic when in years past?
What are you talking about? Okay, because I tell you what, because Dak Prescott, when he's made it through a season, the team's never had a losing record.
When he's what?
When he's made it through a whole season, the team has never had a losing record. I can say that much. I have not said that the Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl. I can be optimistic and say the Cowboys probably will win 3 or 4 games in my division. I can easily say that because that guy has owned the NFC East. And I know that team, granted they haven't won the Super Bowl, has won 12 games multiple times. So when you say optimistic, what am I supposed to be here? Oh man, we're going to only win 3 games. We're going to suck ass. What the hell are you talking about?
No.
I've gone on board and saying a successful season from what we had last year with all new coaches and new players is about a 10-11 win season and making the playoffs. So what are you talking about optimistic? I'm not sitting here saying we're going to be a Super Bowl champion. You're trying to make shit that isn't there up.
No, I'm not, Mark.
No, I mean, seriously. Wait. I don't know how you can be optimistic. I'm optimistic they will be better than last year.
Okay.
That is a safe assumption to say that they will be better with Dak Prescott than Cooper Rush.
We have to be more optimistic because the Green Bay game killed everything that we thought we had. Yes. And then after that, we didn't change head coaches. We didn't change play. We lost 9 of our starters. We honestly knew after New Orleans whipped our ass last year, we weren't going to go nowhere. Period.
Right. I am going to.
I'm not saying we're going to win the Super Bowl.
When your team does not win the Super Bowl, I'm going to play that clip over and over and over. I am literally going to put that on a loop and just have it as a live stream day after day.
And when we win the Super Bowl, are you going to play that clip on a loop?
Yeah, I will. Same thing. It's going to be played.
Okay, so I want to keep that. I want you to keep that energy. We got it recorded. When we win the Super Bowl, you're going to go ahead and keep that clip on loop.
I like how you say tendencies.
Yeah, but then wants to go against them.
there hasn't been a repeat winner in the NFC East in a long time.
Since
Absolutely.
2023.
And who was the last repeat winner?
Well, we talking tendencies.
Yeah, but who was the last repeat winner?
To win the Super Bowl or the NFC?
Oh, wow.
NFC East championship.
Oh, you guys.
Yeah, it like
we were the last team to win the Super Bowl back to back.
I'll go on record.
That was years
and say,
ago.
Mark, I'll add to that and say we will win the NFC East again.
You know, actually, what would be better is for the bird section, and it'll probably help your channel grow quite a bit, is when they don't repeat as Super Bowl champions, that you actually put it on a loop, because then everybody will come to your channel and watch.
I think you're right, Mark. I do. I think you're right. Because
I get people all the time tell me when they're feeling down and sad, they watch me fall off my chair.
I do. I'm one of those people that told you that. I do. I watch it at least once a week. Once or twice a week. I watch it. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel like, yes, I knew, like, I had sometimes the guy who fell off the seat and who was going crazy. I even crack up when I see your wife sneak up behind you or sneak up while you're away and she takes that damn bottle. She knew what was happening.
The best
that was
one,
funny.
No. The very best
was funny.
The very best one is me and her riding down the road, and she sees,
and she couldn't stop laughing. Oh my
she
God!
She literally just laughed.
Kept
looking at me.
Yeah,
just cracking.
And you kept going.
I'm done. I'm not gonna laugh anymore. Just continue to laugh for just the whole way down the road. So yeah, but that's okay.
Yes, but I do in fact watch. I do in fact watch those videos. You know, I watch Capizzle cry over us getting Devontae. Thank you, Dallas, for doing that with us. You know, I love watching Louis T's expression when Saquon runs for a touchdown, the first offensive play of the NFC Championship game. I think it's all gold for me. And so seeing you all go through the range of emotions and us having these conversations, that's what I think is actually going to end up shaking out this year. Okay. Watching you guys go through the different range of emotions.
I don't know when, Leo, but your time is coming.
And you know what? And until then, I'm just going to ride this till the wheels fall off. Okay. Again, I think you guys are being set up for another failure. You know, I think.
Hold on. How is it a failure when nobody's picking us to be anything? How is it a failure?
No. It's you guys.
No.
It's your fan base.
The over and under, I think, moved up to 8.5 at least.
Mark, listen to me. I can give less than a damn about the betting odds. All I am listening to is this Cowboy fan base. And I because I always want to know.
And what have I said?
How is it that you guys end up getting to where you are? I even watch when you stood up inside the Dallas Stadium and screamed at the top of your lungs, "Thank you, Jerry!"
And I'm still doing the same thing because I still can't stand Jerry.
Y'all got your asses kicked.
Dang, bro, you know, you almost sound like we're like you saying what you were saying, man. Like you're gonna win the next 3 Super Bowls. That's what you kind of like sound like. You're saying that we're saying.
Yeah, and you know,
I don't think you guys. That's the sad part, Chris. I don't think you guys hear yourselves, which is why you know what, Chris. Go back and look at some of the old.
I have. And yeah, I have to eat crow. And I told you that I ate crow on the offensive coordinator about your running game. You had Saquon, and obviously that helped majorly. I didn't think your run fits would fit, and I said that just because of our experience. I'm not going to sugarcoat nothing.
And remember, I said I found it kind of interesting. One of the things that I noticed was last year, because of the consecutive years and losing, in particular the way you guys lost, I felt last year it took you guys, the fan base as a whole heck of a lot longer to come back than it did. And I've noticed that you guys,
because there was no energy last year, bro. It was like a dead horse every week, kicking a dead horse.
A team
Shout
that
out
we
to
thought was
David
good got
Wiley who
beat
said
down by
it's
Green
grilling
Bay in the
time.
playoffs, and then we got worse after
Tracy
that
says
because
hello,
we got rid
David.
of Tyler.
Yeah,
So we
well,
got
you
worse
guys.
than we were in the Green Bay game,
Well, no,
and
the
did
best
nothing
the
about it last year. So there was
one of the
no
best
hope.
parts is watching Mark Holmes and Game Time Brian setting up for the day's games, and and Game Time said, Mark, are you gonna go are you gonna check it, are you gonna actually go out and watch the game? And you said, well, Game Time, for shits and giggles, I did check to see what flight prices were going to look like and everything, just because I wanted to see. And then when Green Bay
All right, it's been
all
2
asses
hours
up,
now.
that was
Okay, Leo.
You got a super chat.
That's David Wiley. It's grilling time. Shout out to David Wiley. Appreciate you there as a channel member. We're going to be back at the man cave for a lot of games this year. All right, so Leo, thank you for blovating a whole lot of hot air into the chat and all that, and being the prized possession that you are. And let me say, for Momo, who just lost his sister, for everybody to send prayers his way. Momo is definitely kind of like Leo-esque and stuff, where he's very, very opinionated, but he's still good people.
Yeah, Momo, you're good people, man. I just had to bust your chops about football. That's all it was.
Yeah.
It's never personal. It's just football.
But on Leo, but with Leo, it's
We're
personal.
with you, man. We send our prayers out to you.
I'll take it, Mark. I'll take it. Remember, I'm gonna have this on loop every day, right? For the whole off season.
Yeah, we'll have it on loop there. All right, good people. I appreciate everybody being here. I'm gonna go spend some time with the missus because we're actually here on vacation. Actually, I want to see what she's
I've eaten
done.
a lot of raccoon.
Oh, what? Shut up, Jerry. Jerry, we don't care that you've eaten a lot of raccoon.
Thanks, Drew.
Check out the Skywheel, Mark.
The Skywheel? Okay.
Where are you, Mark, anyway?
In hell with you in the chat.
An undisclosed location.
I'm in Myrtle Beach. I tell you what was great last night was actually we were going to Big Mike's. It's a soul food restaurant that we're told is really, really good. That's around the corner. So we were going in the elevator to walk over there and get some food. And I'm in the elevator, and this guy looks at me. He's like, "You're Margot's. I watch you." And his wife goes, "You? I hear you all the time." And I was like, "I'm sorry." Sorry. But no, it was actually really cool that, from time to time, it just blows me away that people actually recognize me. And I have to say, I appreciate everybody, all the support and everything else, and people coming in. We have over 200 people in the chat right now on one channel and 25 on the other. I appreciate everybody being here. And contrary to what Leo says, I don't think the Eagles are going to be as good as he thinks, and I think the Cowboys will be better than advertised. So I have hopes for both of those things, and we will be definitely checking in on everything with the Cowboys practice, and hopefully nobody got hurt. And Micah gets signed.
Good.
Sorry, what's
With
that?
all these takeaways.
Yeah. Alrighty, good people. We are out of here. Let's turn out the lights.
Bye, everybody.
The party's over. They say that all good things must end.
Oh, Mark, I was going to ask you, have you noticed?
The party's over. And tomorrow and next year starts the same old thing again.